Hey everyone, Derpy here, back with another Battle Pirates video. This is my Cry Havoc TLC Prize Pack 1 video. Jumping straight into Encounter 1 here, you can see that I'm going to be using one fleet for the entire battle without repairing. It's 3 Warhounds and 2 Breacher Dreadnoughts. Now yes, it would be better if you had 5 Warhounds, maybe a Trencher would help here, but these holes will be sufficient to get the job done. What I'm doing in this first encounter here is I'm driving my first 3 Warhounds using Shift, pressing 1, 2, and 3 to select the 3 ships, and those are driving in. I'm moving those right up to the gates as close as possible, trying to eliminate the largest threats first too if I can. I'm going to be turning sideways towards the gates so I can use my built-in rockets to kill them, although my Warhounds are built as a generally concussive build primarily. And then the 2 Breacher Dreadnoughts here are really just there for some extra damage support. They can't take much of a beating in the higher bases, but they're just on auto behind ships 4 and 5, going through, just clean some stuff up. They're actually pretty good at shooting through walls with the various ballistic weapons they have on there, and the Warhounds are going to be the ones that drive straight through and deal the most damage. This first base has a lot of Stormbringer missiles and a lot of launchers too, but the main thing you have to worry about here is Stormbreaker missiles, and I do have some penetrative plates on my Warhounds, which helps prevent this missile damage. You want to see that I take almost no missile damage from this target. This is actually a pretty easy one to get done. You could probably just take 5 Breacher Dreadnoughts in here, park them about where my ships are right now, even set them in auto, and it would get the first one done. I'm going to move my Warhounds all the way around back, and I'm going to try and stay out of the heavy thrower field so I can try to kill all those first. And I do have one Warhound lagging a little bit behind the others because the build is different, but you'll see that at the very end too. That's a pretty easy battle. Let's go ahead and check our damage from that. I've zoomed in so you can see. It looks like mostly penetrative with a little bit of radioactive. Jumping straight into encounter number 2 here, still in Prize Pack 1, we have my same combination of ships, not repaired, still a little bit damaged, and I'm going to be doing a very similar thing. My 3 Warhounds, I'm driving as one, moving through, killing some gates, and instead of having my Breacher Dreadnoughts go inside and charge through here, I think they would get too damaged, so I'm going to have those maybe shoot at one gate and then stop and try and keep them outside the battle, because they take too much damage if I try to rush through with those. As you can see, my Warhounds are going to get beat up a little bit anyway. The main issue here in this target is these Tempest launchers, and I don't have a radioactive plate on my Warhounds. I should replace the other one I have on there. I'll talk about that at the end of the video too. You can notice that this base isn't a very good one because it's not bubbled correctly, its bubble pad isn't built out correctly. I've already killed the main 3 gates here, and it hasn't triggered the 25% damage protection. Not that you need to worry about this anyway in these targets. These are bases you can retreat as many times as you want. You can go over 50% damage, go over 25% damage, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to stop and kill this turret because I want to keep moving through the base. I want to get through this high fire kill zone as quickly as possible, and I don't want to have to sit in all these radioactive turrets. I want to move through back of the base quickly as possible. And once I'm there, I'm going to target the turrets that are actually shooting at me and are actually dealing a lot of damage, which is not these Tempest launchers anymore. It is the Drax Scattergun 2 turrets. Those ones deal the most damage. As you can see, I make a couple mistakes. I move my 2 Breacher Dreadnoughts forward a little bit, and I have to move them back because I forgot about them. They shouldn't be in range of these turrets at all. They're just sitting there for this battle for moral support, I guess. You don't need to use these for this target. Now, maybe you can rush it with a fleet of 5 Breacher Dreadnoughts, have some success, but you should really be using Warhounds for this TLC, or maybe the Trenchers would work too, although I don't have mine built yet. You can see that this outer turret here has a large range. It's shooting at me all the way over here, so I'm going to go and kill that sooner rather than later. Again, I'm trying to shoot things that are actually shooting at me because I know I'm not going to time out. I have 2.5 minutes left. If I was going to time out, I'd focus the higher damage turrets first here that I'd have to come back in a second time. I hope that's starting to make sense, and this general idea of you want to try and drive as skillfully as you can to get to the back of the base and then park outside of the firing range of the main turrets, and then killing the ones that are actually firing at you makes sense. That's what I'm trying to do in these targets. I'm not using the crew for any of these encounters. I could easily use one, maybe the Creeping Death crew that adds some damage, and also some 30 seconds to the base attack. I'm not sure if those work. I think they probably do. but just adding some damage on your ships, which seems like a good thing to me. That's probably the best one to use in these particular things. The Warhounds weapons are accuracy-based splash damage, which against buildings is always 100% accuracy-based, so maybe increasing splash might help against some of these targets, although building damage is the main thing you want to go for. Overall, this wasn't a bad encounter number 2, although it was the worst one in the actual price pack in my opinion with my specific setup, and your results may vary of course. Taking a look at the damage we actually got, you can see that it was mostly radioactive from these Tempest launchers. I could prevent that by using radioactive plates. On to encounter number 3 here. I'm driving differently than the first 2 again, but still pretty similar. I'm again using my 3 Warhounds to go through the base here and trying to kill some of these turrets that are ranged with the half circle arc outside of their ranges. The 2 Breacher Dreadnoughts are moving along the left side. They're going to go sit up at the top. There's a tactical lab up there that you need to kill. They're going to go up there and kill that, as well as sitting just outside of the range of these mortars. And they're also doing some damage. I believe it seems to me that my 2 Breacher Dreadnoughts are dealing more damage and are more effective than my 3 Warhounds against many of these things, although the Warhounds are obviously better because they're a higher tier ship and can take much more damage. They have much better deflection numbers and armor point numbers. They perform better defensive wise, even if the Breacher Dreadnoughts seem to deal more damage. And my Warhounds are not upgraded as of this time in the game. There are no upgrades out yet for these Warhounds, and I do expect that to be coming along fairly shortly. With these Warhounds, I'm going to go ahead and park right in the very center of the base here and kill the turrets that are shooting at me, starting with the heavy turrets that I'm in the firing arc of, which is again this half crescent, half moon one here, half circle one. And everything else I don't need to worry about. The other mortar turrets there that were shooting those big glowing balls, they're not doing anything. They're out of range. My Breacher Dreadnoughts are out of range of that turret, so I don't have to worry about that at all. And I can just worry on the ones that are actually shooting at me, actually dealing some damage, which anything left here at this point is very minimal damage, and I've taken the majority of the damage I'm going to take. I have 3 minutes left to sit here and go through the battle, and what I'm doing is I am parking so that my port and starboard rockets are able to shoot and actually deal enough damage to build and stay in range. And if I need to select something specifically, I'm not moving, but I am shift clicking, or you can click if it's in your range to target it with my actual Gatling guns, the 3 Gatling guns that I have on each ship. And this TLC will pay out a lot of tokens for your Conqueror hulls, mainly your Warhounds, but also some upgrade tokens for your Breacher Dreadnoughts, even though those really aren't worth anything much anymore. And you'll see that at the end of the video too. And there are a bunch of walls here you have to shoot through. I'm going to do my best to try and not have to shoot through those so I can pivot a little bit, kill the things I actually need to. I don't want to sit and shoot through about 7 layers of walls to get to this outpost. I want to shoot through as few as possible. This isn't a bad base to sit here and kill now because everything that's actually going to hurt me is dead. But I'm just trying my best to reduce the time you have to watch me go through here. And you don't want to time out either. If you have a slightly weaker build, deal less damage. You want to make sure you can kill most things, kill most of the offensive turrets that deal a lot of damage in one hit. That's one of the things I ran into in Bounty at least. And I could at this point, if I wanted to, bring my Breacher Dreadnoughts in to help, and those would get through the outpost faster if I had moved them into position a little bit earlier. Overall, I think encounter number 3 is easier than encounter number 2, which was the hardest one in my opinion in this entire price pack 1. It should get worse in price packs 2 and 3, which I will have videos of too. Looking at the damage report, we can see that most of the damage is explosive, again from those explosive mortars, those fireballs that I had to kill. Encounter number 4 is the last one, and I'm going to be driving differently than this one too. It's going to get close to sinking my fleet, so if you're driving something similar to what I am, and you are below half health, you're going to want to repair. I'm going to try to pull my 3 Warhounds out in front so they deal a little bit more damage, but my Breacher Dreadnoughts are going to go through the base this time too, because I need the damage support from them. Now maybe you could run some other like a Basilisk from the outside, be doing some damage, but I only have one of those built, and I quite honestly don't like it very much. So if I can, I'm going to make sure I'm using my port and starboard rockets with the Warhound, so I'm being able to shoot at these turrets on either side, and it's getting a little bit laggy now from all these fields. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so I can see a little bit more clearly what I'm doing, and I'm moving everything to the back of the base. I did think maybe I can stop and breach myself on the land pretty close here, so I'm able to stay inside there, or stay close enough to the missile turrets that I don't take much damage from them, but that didn't work out too well. Having a little bit of difficulty driving around circles, and here's the part where I zoom in so you can see more closely, and then I'm going to target the turrets that are actually dealing damage, like that radioactive one. I'm not sure if that's the new one or not. But going through here, if there are Drax scattergun turrets, try to focus those. And my Breacher Dreadnoughts end up dying here, even though they started at pretty much full health going in here, which shows you again that they're weaker than everything else. And going through here again, I'm targeting the Drax scatterguns because those deal the most damage. Other things that you can kind of really just ignore in this particular encounter. If this video has helped you, go ahead and leave a like. That really helps me and lets me know that they are helpful and they're good to put out. And if you have any questions on this video, you can go ahead and drop that in the comment section on Facebook, YouTube, Kixeye, wherever you're watching this. But back to the battle, you just have to sit here now and wait till everything's dead. If you do have to enter a second time, I still have 3 minutes left, but if you had to retreat and come back in, you'd have to run through the kill zone of the channel again, which you don't want to do, so make sure you have enough time. Make sure that if you do have to run in again, you're killing those big turrets that are actually going to be dealing a lot of damage to you. And you can save the outpost to the end, and the other minor turrets till the end. I'm going to go ahead and show you my build now as soon as this battle's done, and you see the damage report from this. This was actually a sort of interesting damage report. You can see that a lot of the damage was split between ballistic and corrosive damage, and that seems to make a decent amount of sense. My build here for my Warhounds is the same for all three, except I don't have armor plates on my third one because I ran into some weight issues when I had a dock level that was lower than it is now. My two Breacher Dreadnoughts are the same build that Kixeye has when they gave them out. If you want me to put a more detailed video out on my PvP builds, I might try and do that. I'm starting to get back into PvP a little bit. As you can see, my medal count is still pretty low. But I will be uploading videos of prize packs 2 and 3 and Mastery Prize, which gets you some generic build tokens, better than the tokens you receive for this round. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you want to see those. And you can also click one of the other links on screen to see another video. Anyway, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.